as we are here in the finals of the free agent scrim gym. We only have 4 teams, but we will have ourselves a winner of this event. We are back in the driver's seat with Buff. Teemos just finished smashing their game number 1 in the semifinals and looking clean off of Salty Alley's beautiful Orianna. Highly expect that if the other team, Giggity Gods this time, were paying attention, Orianna should be banned away. I myself am Jake Kelton, joined by Smars this time for the entirety of this game. I am hyped.
The whole game. Super hyped. A lot of chat coming in talking about the Teemo. At this point, if I don't see Teemo picked, I don't know what I'm going to do.
We're going to have to judge silently, but let's go through these players very quickly. We just saw them playing Buff Teemos. We've got Justin in the top lane, Johnny as the jungler, Salty Alley in the mid lane, Raven Glitch the AD carry, and Tazzy, who just played my favorite supportive Leona in the bottom lane supportive role. If you would do the honors of introducing the new team that we have not yet seen anything.
Giggity Gods, Team GG. We got Captain Hook in the top lane, Sandwraith Pike in the jungle, and I mean, we got 2 Hook names, the Pike and Captain Hook.
Oh,
the rest
full
of the
Hook
team even needed. C9, just kidding. C9 Penguins in the mid lane. Oh no. Kokiria? What's it, Kokiria in the bot lane role, and Tortuga de Lechuga in the support role.
Yeah, that name, Kokiria, messed me up the entire last night. The entire last night. Because they were in, I would say the most likelihood is that it's Kokiria. That's a very good way of saying it. I've not been corrected the couple of times I have said it that way. Because we ended up casting basically one half of the bracket, I saw that name a lot, and it was a rough one, let me just say that. But we're into the picks and bans. Maybe this time around, if we say Kokiria enough times, Kokiria, we might be able to actually remember it, Kokiria, so we're in the middle of casting.
Are you sure Kokiria won't pop up?
Kokiria might pop up and allow us to see what Kokiria wants to play, but we're a ways away from that yet, unless the ADC is priority pick, which a little bit of different bans than we saw last game. A lot of ADCs were banned in the previous game, taking away Raven Glitch's Sivir, Caitlyn. There's one other one that I forget now. It might have been the Jhin. But either way, so far, it's going to be jungler and mid laner banned by the side of Giggity Gods, whereas that Thresh and Syndra, I'm not surprised by that Syndra because of her buffs being taken off the table, but what else is left for this first ban phase?
Yeah, a lot of jungle focus coming out of Giggity Gods here, and it's honestly, warranted. I think Nocturne and Echo are extremely powerful right now. Nocturne is coming up more in the meta as the macro play when as it improves. You see even amateur teams picking up a lot more, and Echo is basically the sleeper god tier of the jungle right now. Where I'm expecting we're probably going to see a lot of Echo at Worlds. Even Echo jungle is I think #1 in Korea right now, and #2 in China, something like that. He's got crazy amounts of play times right now. It actually came up in last patch, not even this Worlds patch that came in today. I think it dropped today, right? The Worlds patch. But 2 weeks ago, I think, was when the previous patch dropped. And that's when Echo kind of started, peeking a little bit, saying, maybe we're going to get the Echo jungle again. But it's not the AD tank. If everyone remembers, the AD tank Triforce Echo that was once built is now it is in fact AP Echo. A lot of Vi also being picked up recently. Paired with the Morgana should be pretty powerful to this Kai'Sa pick. Kai'Sa being prioed means that you could have taken. In fact, they might still take. They could take Caitlyn, Morgana. So for people who aren't crazy familiar with drafting, even if they wanted Kate Morg here, there's no need to take Caitlyn because the side of Buff Teemo, or Buff Teemos, I should say, already took Kai'Sa. So if the side of Giggity wants a Caitlyn, it's more worth priority picking a different role, like the Vi, if it's contested, and taking Caitlyn third pick, which we might see coming.
I see. Yeah, before the Vi, or like let the Vi be picked and then grab Caitlyn here, because the thing is, you don't want to delay until the second ban phase, because that's when the Caitlyn could and should be rightfully banned by the side of buff Teemos. Now, they have grabbed themselves that Karma, but this is not a first pick Karma, which I think would have liked to see a lot more. This is a third pick Karma, so the flexibility and the, trying to draft around where Karma could go is not going to be as much of a deal. So, either way, they still grab themselves that bottom lane, water to lock it, and we see both bottom laners and junglers for both teams, which means it's pinching mid lane pool and top lane pool for both, expecting a Renekton to be banned away. Tryndamere, the first choice, as Giggity Gods takes that one off the table.
Yeah, and the Karma pick is, like you mentioned, yes, it's a flex pick, but is most likely going to go in the support role because Karma does allow you to break the black shield coming out of Morgana. However, Karma was just nerfed. She has, like, her Q does way less damage now. It's one thing to keep in mind, that Worlds patch really targeting a lot of things. There's got to be some conspiracy out there that says, or theory out there that says, Uzi has some kind of deal with Riot. The only two AD carries to get buffed being Vayne and Ashe. And he made, like, a special appearance in the Rise video showing up at the end of it from last year. I don't know what the deal with Uzi and Riot is, but we're going to see, like, god tier Uzi at Worlds this year as the Malphite gets locked in. What a dangerous pick, but you can flex it to tank top or AP mid. AP Malphite has been huge for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and I like it because there's still a lot of engage with the Vi and that Malphite being able to dive into fights, and then it's so much safer when you have the Morgana Black Shield. Honestly, if this game is won by Giggity Gods, might say that win is heavily based off of buff Teemos not banning the Morgana, because she's just so darn strong with that Black Shield. Dropping it on Vi or Malphite, they can engage, plus the pairing with that Dark Binding and Caitlyn's traps is so good. Vladimir, the lock-in for buff Teemos, giving themselves a little bit of late game carry, kind of, hey, at least you have one person to compare with that Kai'Sa as the game scales into the later stages, grabbing the Shen as well, but that means they are so heavily reliant on this Kai'Sa to get them through the early game, because Warwick, okay, he brings a little bit of damage, mostly CC with his ultimate. Shen, it's all CC and tankiness. Vladimir, early game does not that much. It's all about the late game for him, and Karma is all about the shields because her AP is nerfed so hard. So, got to play around to protect the Kai'Sa until that Vladimir comes online.
I don't really like this composition out of Giggity Gods, so Malphite's a super dangerous pick to, like, particularly for red side to take fourth, because you can allow blue side to pick around it, which we saw with the Vladimir and Shen, and that's two losing lanes for Malphite. Whether he goes AP, I mean, theoretically, I guess he could go AP and poke Shen out of lane, and Shen will just build MR. But there's no real damage threat coming out of Giggity Gods. They have Caitlyn, and like, you could argue Vi, but Vi is so crucial to like, their frontline presence that it's not going to matter. The one beneficial factor they have is that 90% of the damage out of the side of buff Teemos is magic damage, unless Kai'Sa goes AD. Obviously, the AP build is very popular right now, so I'm expecting AP. But you could go AD. I personally think AD is still really, really strong. Also, I say it every time I cast at this point. Shen is like the sleeper god tier top laner. He is, in my opinion, the strongest top laner right now, even stronger than picks like Kled. I think that Shen is just so insanely strong in this lane. Yes, although I should mention they just reverted some of the changes to Aatrox and Akali. I think they were scared they would no longer see Aatrox, Akali, or World, so maybe we see Aatrox come back into this matchup, as he should now be a little more viable in lane. But overall, the composition out of buff Teemos says, hey, if this game lasts for 25 minutes and we're not down 25k gold, we just win, because you have no answer to Kai'Sa Vladimir, right? Like, you have Galio, Malphite, and yeah, okay, maybe you can nuke Kai'Sa, but you have Karma and Shen to double shield the Kai'Sa. So it's gonna be pretty hard. Oh, and also Kai'Sa can shield herself, right? Like, her ultimate will give her a shield, so It's going to be pretty hard, I think, for Red side to actually kill the Kai'Sa come late game when you have this insane lineup. Your best, like, theoretically, if anyone else says, oh, well, I mean, Vlad Malphite can just, hard engage on a Kai'Sa. Yeah, but if your Vi and Malphite are exhausting that much to get to the Kai'Sa, let's not even talk about the fact that she won't die from it. Your backline just got nuked by Vladimir. Like, if you don't put your CC on Vlad, he will 1v9 you. So, I mean, you have to be really careful in these fights. And, I mean, Galio's not the greatest matchup in Vlad. Vlad just gets to free farm this lane.
Well, and that's the risk of running some team composition that is so heavy with divers, the Vi, the Malphite, Galio as well, is that you leave your back line, the damage dealers, the Caitlyn, potentially Morgana, depending on how much AP she builds, open and susceptible to getting bursted down. Vladimir, all he has to do is say, oh, you're all chasing directly at me, let me just pool underneath you all, pop up behind you, and nuke your Caitlyn, take her out of the fight. But they have to get to that late game point where Vladimir is so strong, and where the Kai'Sa will be practically untouchable with her mobility, the shields from Karma. And the thing that you can see, though, from buff Teemos, they're collapsing is very strong. You have a Shen ultimate. Warwick is so fast about roaming around the map. Kai'Sa can also use her killer instinct to jump in, and you still have that movement speed on Karma for the entire team if they want to. So a lot of movement, a lot of collapsing, and a lot of CC. You don't really look at it as, oh, like Leona and Alistar, they're hard CC, crazy amounts of CC. But you have a Shen that can taunt multiple targets, and that taunt lasts a while. You have a Warwick ultimate that can CC someone for up to 6 seconds. You have Karma that can tether people and slow them almost indefinitely. And so it's these more softer, you don't think about them as much CCs that can come in and surprise people. All it takes is one wrong move from the Vi or the Malphite, and they could be dead.
No, absolutely, but I do want to be fair, and I do want to talk about the fact that the bot lane, the lane phase of the bot lane coming out of Giggity Gods is still this powerhouse Caitlyn Morgana. So there is still that world where Caitlyn does find an insane lead, and composition doesn't even matter because you do have your tank Malphite and your tank Galio, if Malphite goes tank, and your Bruiser Vi, creating a wall for your fed Caitlyn that Vladimir isn't strong enough to 100-0 yet. And then that, if Caitlyn does get ahead, then yes, they have a chance because they built an ADC composition. Yes, it's not a hyper carry, it's not a Vayne or something, or Kog'Maw or something like that. Which, by the way, may have been a TK Kog'Maw may have been nice here because they showed the Kai'Sa and Kog'Maw is the Kai'Sa counter. That could have been a really spicy pick here, but I mean, Caitlyn works because you're saying, you know what? We're playing for that early mid game. We're going to get a hard lead early on and just instantly translate into a victory in the mid game. Yes, if their team isn't behind 25k gold at 25 minutes in, then we lose. But they are going to be down 25k gold. Like that's the mentality that Team Giggity Gods has to be taking on right now.
The order is.
I am terrified for this Isalti Ali Vladimir though, given his performance on the Orianna last game. If he does as well on Vlad as he did Orianna last game, it's going to be even scarier.
Yeah, and his Orianna was terrifying, especially because in the early game, it was all about landing this poke and hurting, not really going for those kills. But once the mid-game got around, those kills just kind of snuck in here. One kill there, or one kill here, and suddenly the Orianna was 8-0. We'll see if Salty Alley can do a similar thing, get this Vladimir rolling from the very beginning of that game. Now, it is Penguins on this Galio. Did I say Galio? Vladimir in the mid lane.
Penguins is on Galio.
Yeah, Penguins is on Galio in this mid lane. Should be able to at least farm against the Vladimir well using the passive as well as his Winds of War Q. But it's still going to be one of those things of all about positioning because of Vladimir's range. Just with those Qs, he can constantly throw down.
Not only that, but the problem is like, okay, like let's assume best case scenario, Galio doesn't get hard harassed as you're seeing right now. So what, right? Like, would you rather have a farm to Vlad or a farm to Galio, right? Like, that's the situation you run into. And you ask anyone, they're like, I'll take the Vladimir things. You can take that Galio all you want. So we are going to see Galio start to be able to come back a little bit more come level 2. But starting level 3, I think I saw Tiala just starts hard abusing this lane. Both of them actually have ignited in the mid lane. I also want to talk about the fact that Shen, Vlad, and Kai'Sa, all three of them took Doran shield this game. So they really are playing that passive farm it up game.
So it should be a bit of a slower game, which is also something nice to see when it comes to the free agent event that we have going on right now, because Doran's Shield is not the solo queue mindset. That is a, I want to sit back, play for the team, play for later. Normally speaking, if you're true full-on solo queue, I have to carry, I have to get as much damage, I have to be the player that makes this game winnable. And so I liked that from Buff Teemos. Last game, they did something similar just with their overall play style, and now they're doing it with these early game builds. We'll see if they can take that to the point in which they can actually start to come back. Nice Kathy and Rain dropping Morgana low, fighting the top side as that Shen gets the taunt down onto Captain Hook. He might be Captain Dead. He will drop. It's Warwick picking up first blood as that taunt comes through from Galio in that mid lane, just getting poked down using that passive of the something grasp of
Yeah.
what is it? What is not passive? His rune. Excuse me. Either way, Vladimir pooling, trying to escape. Salty Alley ignited, ticking away. Will survive. Warwick coming in. He's got the double buff flashing forward. He's got the fear onto Galio. He might be looking for a second kill at the 3.5 minute mark. The Fight's got the knockup, but it only puts the Warwick in position to actually find the kill. Now Johnny has to find a way to escape. His flash is already burned. Pike will flash to make sure that he drops. Good cleanup there. It's a 2-for-1 total kills between the two teams.
I'm still just super confused by the fact that Caitlyn took traps level 2, which is good. But then when Morgana landed a binding, there was no CC chains of the trap with the headshots, and I'm now a little bit confused as to why they're not bullying this lane. In fact, oh, come on. All right, there you go. Come on. There we go. Okay. All right,
the poke is good.
We're good. Everything, all's good. Everything's okay. Oh, we have Warwick looking though. I like the way this Warwick plays. He's super aggressive in a game where you wouldn't think he is. Normally you think this Warwick's gonna play back, look to just wait till his laners get strong. However, him getting all the kills could go either way here. With Malphite's with the boots rush. What? Wait a second. That is not what you needed to get that cloth armor, buddy.
Galio engaging there into that mid lane once again. Well, just try to see what he can catch out on that Vladimir. But there's a Warwick around the corner. Don't think they had the vision to actually see him there. So good from Galio to back off regardless. But that Vladimir up 10 CS against Penguins in that mid lane. And that can only go even worse from there. A lot of words from both teams. One control being used by Giggity Gods around that Ocean Drake. So might see some early contesting there. The Shen about to hit that level 6. So he could join if the big fight breaks out in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and like I said, because they showed the Malphite early, he had two losing lanes, either Vladimir or the Shen. And you lose to Vlad a lot harder than you lose to Shen. But Shen still dictates how the lane phase goes. We see that with a double CS lead on the Shen right now, 33 to the 15. That's pretty much what you expect out of this lane. Shen hasn't even had to pop the initial health pot he bought. However, this Caitlyn Morgana, they're not really playing this lane very efficiently. Yes, they have the Vi sitting there, but Kai'Sa and Karma are expecting Kate Morg to be super aggressive here, and they're not. Alright, now they're going for the... Oh, flash, it was forced.
It was a respectful flash. If that Dark Binding had landed with the Vi and the Caitlyn right there, that might have been a kill, but it still looked bad when that Dark Binding was pretty good distance away from Karma. But either way, Warwick has already started up the Ocean Drake. Now he's going to be in trouble. He gets a huge shield, though, going forward, looking for that Vi because the Shen is here with that ultimate, looking for Sand Wraith Pike. Smites the dragon just to get a little bit of help, but not going to survive long enough and goes down. Ocean should go over to Buff Teemos. There they go, grabbing that for themselves in the early game, giving a good amount of that mana regen to the Karma and the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, so Malphite had TP, but A had no mana, B had no ultimate. Galio still not level 6.
Oh.
Good taunt, but I mean, not really gonna matter too much there. So he didn't have level 6, so he wasn't able to like ult in on the Vi or anything like that for that sort of play. So I mean, all in all, like this is what. Oh wait!
Great pull out of Vladimir, gets the ignite as well, taking one turret shot, but won't be enough to actually take him down. There's no one around from Giggity Gods to actually punish this. Great play and great dive from Salty Alley.
Yeah, that was a super nice play out of him. Shed also getting the TP back into the top lane after ulting for that dragon fight. And at this point, I mean, Buff Teemos kind of probably has the game already because they're up 2k gold in the game. They should be down 17k gold, so it's not looking... Let me put it this way. It's not looking too great for the side of Giggity Gods right now. Again, their win condition is all but one player, and that is Kokiria. And right now, Kokiria they're not finding a dominant performance in the bot lane. Whether it's because they're not as comfortable running it, or maybe it's because Raven Glitch and Tazi are doing a better job of playing passive into it. For whatever the reasoning is, the end result is you don't have a dominant performance. You know, CS being even, yes, there's a wave crashing, but nothing compared to the 14 CS lead in the top lane or the 25 CS lead in the mid lane. And oh yeah, your jungler's 3-1. So not the greatest situations to be in.
The 30 CS that the side of Buff Teemos had last game, that's a dominant lead in the bot lane. This is not looking so good. Vi, Sandwraith Pike looking to see if she can maybe make a play, but was seen by that ward. Still going to be coming in with that Q. Has the ult available, but not going to take out underneath that turret. You can see that every time a fight is attempted to engage, Karma just shields both of them. They go speeding out of the lane back to the turret. No plates have been taken. In a lane that has Morgana Caitlyn, not a single plate has fallen against them. Like, that is just crazy. That is crazy.
The minion wave was fully envisioned, and you're trying to run it in on them. You don't have Mobies, you have got tier 1 boots. You know, you're not a crazy fed to just go for whatever play you want. Little bit questionable. I think Sandwraith, like, maybe their mental is not too great after being down in a winning early game at the very least. I'm not entirely sure. I do think a lot of it comes down to like drafting. So the Morgana Caitlyn was good. The first rotation, they got the Vi, they got the Caitlyn, they got the Morg. That was really, really good. I think the Malphite Galio is really what becomes questionable because you let them get advantageous matchups for free. And after they showed Shen Vladimir, so the telegraph of Vlad mid, you still took the Galio into it. There's the play they wanted.
Morgana. Whoa, wait, hold on. Ace in the hole going to protect the Karma. She will survive. Tazzy is ignited. Will finally drop her. Morgana took a turret shot to make that happen. Wait, Tazzy's got a shield. The heal from the Kaisa as well, trying to keep them alive. Malphite finally ults in, grabs himself 2 kills after TPing into the minion wave. Justin will be up, but he's shielding himself underneath that turret. It is an absolute bloody brawl underneath this turret. So many members of Giggity Gods that were diving, and now Sandwraith Pike dropping low. Warwick chasing down, should be able to find that kill. It's Tortuga Delecha. That's to run away as Vladimir has ignited her. Should be able to burn down that Morgana. She goes golden, but is just setting up for Vladimir to walk in, say hi, grab the blood, and there they go, grabbing themselves 9 kills to 4. That was a extended ace on the side of Buff Teemos.
Yeah, and the side of Giga Gods actually trolled that fight super hard. Galio tried to take tower for his team, but tanked one too many shots and just died to it. They didn't commit at all on the dive. That was a really scuffed dive, and that does come down to efficient dives are one of the hardest things to pull off. And again, this is a free agent team. These are not players who've been playing together for months or weeks or what have you not. They just found each other today, as I'm presuming. It's that play, unless you have someone who's actively calling and there's people listening to it, that's really, really hard to pull off. Or if your whole team is just at that caliber of level, which this is not LCS, right? We're not expecting LCS players that are on LCS. Oh, wait a second. Good flash coming on the Malphite. He should be fine. He's got chain best.
And he's got a lot of health as well, so he's tanking this, trying to get started in that top lane. Those 2 kills that he grabbed in the bot lane with a great ultimate was really, really good because those were some of those very few, I think total 3 kills that Giggity Gods actually got in that fight. The Ocean Drake now started up by them. However, it's a bit risky considering Salty Alley is right here as well. Has that ultimate up and available. We'll see if he decides to use it on all 4 members. He does. Ocean Drake is grabbed by the fight. Now, will they back away? Gallia goes in, taunting at the enemy team. The Caitlyn has to escape. Nightingale helping out over the wall, looking for the blast cone as well to get back to the turret. And they do disengage. They lose only that Galio, evening up the Ocean Drakes.
Yeah, turn the all-in-3 Galio for Ocean. It's not the worst. The bigger problem is that because Galio's dead, doesn't have TP, you're gonna have a lot of mid lane pressure coming in right away, and Warwick's gonna get a free Rift now. So, you have to think less about one for Ocean's not that bad. Think more about what is the macro cost from this. Now you have Vi forced to contest mid. You have Vladimir who's going to put a lot of pressure on the Vi here. Probably chuck Vi a decent amount here. Yep, there it is. And you have Warwick again, like I mentioned earlier, who's going to get to take a Rift for free. So you're trading more than might initially appear, and that's really what you have to watch out for. Is it's not about what happens in the 5 seconds, it's what happens within the next 35 seconds.
So that Rift Herald going to the Warwick. No turrets have gone down yet, so it could be used to grab that first turret of the game gold, especially with these turret plates still up for another minute. Malphite's going to see that, but there it is. Warwick's able to grab it for himself.
And what is going to allow Buff Teemos to do is open up the map for the Vladimir. The goal is to break mid lane here and let Vlad do what he wants.
Galio ultimate coming in. They've got the CC lockup taking down the Warwick. The Shen coming in as well. We'll see what they can actually do. Hold on. No, it's just the Vladimir left all alone. Salty Alley now trying to what a great good flash over the wall. Those 3 ultimates burned by Giggity Gods gets 1 member, the Warwick. Expensive kill, but a kill nonetheless.
Yeah, Morgana, one thing I was noticing in the bot lane is that Morgana's using this Black Shield like very frequently instead of more like need-based. More like you might take magic damage here, I'm gonna throw it on you, you can play, you can step up. Whereas it needs to be Karma now is tethered you, or Karma's, the mantra Q's mid-flight, time to negate that damage, which is how it should be played. Malphite having Merc Treads will help him for like the taunt and stuff, but he doesn't have any damage to return onto the Shen, and Shen is now going to go back with his 1,000 gold, and he can either look to go straight into a Titanic. He's actually choosing to stay, or he can look to build that into an immediate defensive item. I think they actually look for this play here. I think we're going to see Vi hard engage soon. Go to try, see the vision, and get counter ganked by Warwick, which is exactly what I'm expecting to happen. They're trying to bait this
Kaisa, yeah, steps forward enough. Karma's going to go forward. Montague, ooh, just misses.
Here it is.
Here comes Warwick. There it is, the engage onto Karma. She goes golden with a nice stopwatch. The Sandwraith Pike now has to run away. The Pike gonna be in trouble. Should be dropping. The Shen just TPing into the bot lane. The Q for the ultimate, from the Vi Assault and Battery. Cut mid-play. Considering that she died throughout that. Penguin's going to say hi to Salty Alley as they are going to engage onto the Vladimir, drop him below, but he's got that ultimate onto 3 members. Warwick diving underneath the turret, says, you know what, I can get between the turrets, grab 2 more kills. Salty going now 4-0, looking for Penguins next. He's going to take a nice and heroic charge out, so he will survive. The bot lane turret's going down, first turret of the game, as that Rift Herald can step forward and get a second charge onto the second turret in this bot lane. Malphite is here. Galio coming back, choosing to stick around. Vaish coming up from the base. We'll see if her respawn will be enough to actually find something as they can walk this Rift Herald into a third turret in this bottom lane. This is mountains and mountains of gold pouring into the pockets of Buff Teemos. Rift Herald will not get that third charge off, but this game just went from bad to so much worse.
Yeah, that 4K gold lead inside of Buff Teemos, and a lot of that now finally being onto that box of Vladimir, having a 2,400 gold advantage in his lane. That's a pretty big deal. You have Malphite, who has elected to build Sunfire Cape into the Fed Vladimir, and a lot of the damage going to be tanking is going to be the Kaisa and the Vlad. Kaisa is building Rage Blade next, and honestly, I mean, is at this point can build whatever she wants because she's not worried about the tanky stats coming out of the no boots at 16 minutes in Galio, or the Vi who just has a Ninja Tab. He's going for the Trinity Force. Not going to be a big, really, no real tank threats coming out of Giggity Gods here, which is really not ideal. Where if you look at the side of Buff Teemos, you've got tanky Warwick and tanky Shen.
Pressure into the mid lane from Buff Teemos. Rift Herald is using that bot lane, so it's just going to be them pushing into this mid lane. First tier turret already under half health. as the turret plates are down, moving into that 16-minute mark. Warwick going ahead and starting up that Wind Drake for the team, giving them a little bit more mobility around the map, which they already have such great collapse. And this Wind Drake going to be even nicer. Galio, you're not even worrying about contesting. It's into the mid lane for Giggity Gods. 3 members going to be trying to start that one up. Wind Drake already grabbed, though, by Buff Teemos, and that means Giggity Gods has to back away from this turret. Shen trying to collapse. We'll see if he can actually find someone with the taunt.
Vi does manage to dash out, avoiding the tense situation. Little Dark Binding land just to make sure the play is guaranteed. However, now we do have the side of Buff Teemos completely taking over Vision here. They could honestly even look to set up a dive here. They know Galio's not around. Honestly, Vladimir and Warwick can just straight dive this. As long as Vlad doesn't get like chain CC'd by the Malphite Caitlyn or something, they're totally free to do what they want here. Vladimir's just baiting out abilities at this point. Actually, Malphite. No, I was trying to think. If they hard engage, can they make a play here? I don't think they can. The problem is like you have the Karma just sitting around waiting to, shield someone. Honestly, can even just Monster Shield if she really wanted to. Good binding onto the Vlad, but see, look at that. Even with a full combo, only like 200 or so damage. Even because of the Karma Shield, they're getting so much of it. That's what's really crucial here.
Caitlyn has no damage. She only has the BF sword. She still has not completed that Infinity Edge, and now Warwick
There's a dive I was
on
talking
in,
about.
looking for the Caitlyn immediately. They grab that one up. Morgana gonna fall as well before she gets the full ultimate down. Vi taking a blast cone into the blue pits, joining the Penguins. Can they get away? The Kai's throwing out that Void Seeker, looking for that killer instinct. Michael for the engage, waits for the Galio to drop that taunt. It's gonna be going down just as the Vi falls as well. Galio now trying to take the blast cone himself to safety, was on the wrong side of the wall, though, so he's gonna throw out that ultimate, but cannot join Malphite. It's desolation for Giggity Gods as they are once again almost wiped off the map completely. A 5,000 gold lead for Buff Teemos, and they are looking incredibly swole this game.
Incredibly swell indeed. It's actually a 6,000 gold lead, about to be increased furthermore by this turret, which their Malphite's not going to defend. They have no ultimates on their side. I guess they have. I guess I got the Vi ult and the Caitlyn. Oh, that's fine. Pretty good binding on your tower, actually. But, like I said, like you said, Caitlyn, no damage. Got the IE, and that's it. You need more than that, buddy. You're going to need some rapid fire cannon in there, get some damage procs off. You find a play onto the BM Kaisa coming in. If you find a dark binding onto Kaisa or Karma, then yes, you can make a play onto it off of anyone else, and unfortunately not the case. We do have Baron spawning here in 30 seconds, and with this Kaisa Vlad Warwick, it's a legitimate threat to get picked up pretty early on by the side of Buff Teemos. They have the composition for it.
And see, I can see maybe some of the thought process from Giggity Gods, which is we'll cancel some of these backs, make them have to choose between recalling, which gives us priority around the Baron, even though Baron still wasn't actually up for them to immediately run to, or, come and try to fight us at that Baron without having been able to spend the gold that you just got on that last play. The problem is that they're so far ahead that even without spending that gold, they shouldn't really be that afraid of going in and looking for a fight regardless around the Baron. Plus, Giggity Gods are so far behind at this point, their clearing of that Baron is going to take an eternity. So, no real risk there. This is actually a mid lane, first tier turret, wide open. Okay, well, just walk in.
Oh, come on!
Vi left alone. Morgana just throw a ranged auto attack and finish the turret.
Alright, go next. Go next.
Bad stuff there. Vladimir coming in with the pull, trying to slow down the Malphite unnecessary because the ultimate from the Warwick was already used. That's going to the flash from Captain Hoki will go down. Vladimir says, I'll put you in the grave, and Kaisa steals the kill away. Johnny now going into the turret once again. Who says you can't dive twice if you already had a successful at it once? Kokiria doing what they can to actually get a lot of damage in return, but again, it's only an IE. Caitlyn, no real threat. And Warwick able to get away. That poor Vi. That poor Vi. I've been that Vi so many times. I hate to see it.
They backed off too early. They didn't help escort the Vi. You hate to see it. Here's that Baron rush I was talking about. Galio, I'm sorry. You're not old Galio. You can't burst him down. Binding gets baited out. This is just... They didn't even have smite. This is just dunzo. Your Vladimir is 6-0.
8,000 gold lead.
Yeah, like 3,500 on his laner. Got a jungle 2K up. You got a top
Maybe
laner,
one more
600.
play. They find the Dark Binding onto the Kai'Sa. The Vi goes in with the Assault and Battery, but immediately flashed by Raven Glitch. She is out. Doesn't have that ultimate available. Galio goes in, only to turn around and charge right back out. Pool from the Vladimir to avoid the taunt from Penguins. Nice little trap there, slowing down Warwick from actually fighting underneath the turret. They lost that one member of the Vi. Dark Bindings are finally starting to hit from Tortuga, but it's on members that are unable to be jumped on. Now Warwick diving the turret. Galio's in. He's got the taunt of the 3 members, but they're still going to lose the Morgana, and Penguins will fall as well. They have an Ocean Drake on the side of buff Teemos. They simply step away, wait for them to heal up a little bit. Karma has not only all these shields, but the mana to boot as well. It's an inhibitor turret going to be going down next. Maybe the inhibitor as well.
Yeah, this is just game. Like, there's just nothing for the side of. Like, the problem is compositionally speaking, blue side wins a late game, and they're supposed to lose early game. Like, you, Vladimir, Kai'Sa, you have nothing to contest that on the side of Giggity Gods. It's just a matter of win condition of identifying that, okay, Caitlyn needs to get ahead, Caitlyn needs to smash this lane, get advantage, and we translate that advantage into a Caitlyn kills your team faster than your team kills us. Situation, but that's they were not able to find the success in the bot lane, and that's sort of what we're seeing play out here. Is the fact that the game's at 23 minutes now, and the scoreboard is the opposite of what it should be. It should be 5-22 instead it's 22-5 with a 10k gold lead in the pockets of these scaling late game team composition. So, as much as you want to say, oh, maybe they can do this, maybe do that, they can win. If Malphite finds a 5-man knockup, which gets turned into a 5-man Galio stun, all under a turret or ideally Fountain, with the Caitlyn trap CC'd along with the Morgana ult on top of that, with the Vi one-shotting the Kai'Sa, then yes! That's not a chance.
Well, maybe they can grab this Vladimir, but I think at this point he might be able to 2v1. He CC'd up with the Shen ultimate coming in as well. Looking for the play underneath that turret. He's got a 2-man taunt. Vladimir's just going insane with the damage. Shen actually takes one. Kai'Sa is here. The collapse from buff Teemos. What happened? Vladimir was alone in the top lane, and suddenly 5 are there. They grab themselves that first lane top tier turret. They're looking for the next turret as well. Should be uncontested. Vi is in the bot lane jungle. Gonna be trying to pick up that wave, keep it from crashing onto their inhibitor turret. That means Caitlyn and Morgana, the only 2 left to defend against 5 members pushing top lane. This should be a second inhibitor.
It's probably game, to be honest. I'm probably going to take this lead into the supers in the mid lane and just end here.
4 to 5 seconds on the Malphite and the Galio. Galio's ultimate going to be up here just shortly. Malphite doesn't have his for a bit. Vi coming in. We'll see what she can do. The Kai'Sa is the target, but so hard to get to her through the Karma, through the Vladimir. Warwick and Shen being the front line tanks, even taking a couple of turret shots to trying to keep this pressure up in the mid lane. They're letting the cannon minions, the siege minions start to wail away on those Nexus turrets, making Giggity Gods have to force a play. And Vladimir, sorry, it's the Vi going in. Galio ultimate coming in as well. The Vi is about to be snared up, and the Galio is the first to fall because Vladimir was focusing on the back end of the fight. A little bit of freeze frame there for a moment, giving time for Vladimir to go golden. This healing up. He actually lives. Salty Alley taking turret shots in the entire enemy team's damage line. They will all go down, except for the Caitlyn, who gets back to the pattern in time to use that laser takedown. The Kai'Sa is actually Galio that gets shut down goal, considering Galio did the last bit of damage. The Penguins gets one little bit back. They're looking for the Caitlyn. Do they dive the fountain to try to get to her? People flashing away from that fountain laser. Warwick just laughing, letting the minions take down the Nexus. GG buff Teemos, as apparently the little man, the little rodent, is stronger than anyone expected.
Yeah, and like I said, we knew that was GG going to that play the top lane. They had the supers in the mid lane, pretty good close out there. I mean, it was just a complete outclass. I mean, they lost the early game draft. They had the late game. And by far, I think overall the better team composition, but still early on, you had the powerhouse bot lane, which should have taken over. That didn't quite happen. Whether it's again because Kokiria and Tortuga de la Chuga, whose names I really enjoy, didn't execute it well, or if it's because Raven Glitch and Tazi knew the matchup well and played passively into it, didn't eat her ass. Whichever one it is, the win condition on the side of Giggity Gods was not met. And actually, we saw an insane lead coming out from the advantageous lane matchups of the Shen into the Malphite and the Vladimir into the Galio, which what that meant was every 2v2 was won with Warwick there. We saw Warwick taking over early on and getting a very big lead. So definitely huge props to all 5 players, honestly, on the side of Teemos.
And MVP could only go to one person, Salty Alley. Game number 2, 21,000 damage. Combine the Galio and Caitlyn on the side of Giggity Gods that did the most damage for their team, and you have still less damage than the Vladimir alone did. This man is insane, and obviously one of the higher ranked players in the event, so credit given where credit is due. Did a very good job leading his team to this victory, and excited to see him back in future games. And if any teams are watching this, maybe consider picking up this guy for the mid lane, because he obviously can handle himself on a variety of champions, being the Orianna game number 1, which is a early game to team fight champion, and a Vladimir in game number 2 for that late game power play.
Yeah, and I am going to give my MVP to not Isaltiali, but actually to Johnny, who I think did a phenomenal job setting his team up in the early play. While I do think Saltiali played really well, I also think he had a Vladimir and Galio lane matchup. So while I want to say he did really, really well, I also think he was really set up for success in A, draft, and B, by the fact that Johnny was just decimating the top half of the entire map.
Crazy, crazy, craziness. Well, keep in mind for the future, this is only our first of hopefully many free agent tournaments and events to come. We only had 20 people sign up this time around, but it was last minute that we started to plan for it. So if we start doing this more on the regular, probably our Thursday nights, this will kind of take over our Thursday nights. Hopefully we'll get some more of you guys in here to play and really get some good games going. We thank you all for coming out. There's a bunch of people that I need to thank for those follows as well. So let's go ahead and swap over to our end credit scene. Before we do that, thank you, Smartest, for coming out and casting. Appreciate you rushing your essay to get in here and join us tonight. It's been an absolute blast and pleasure as always. Hope you're doing well. Have a good one. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
Anytime.